It's football and other efforts, and we're live at the install with Rising Greg Cassell and head coach Brian Callahan here tonight. Tennessee Titans head coach Brian Callahan here tonight. We're at the Analog inside the Hutton Hotel. We got tons of fans here. I mean, they are probably so annoyed that we're even talking to them right now.
Probably. I don't know. That you have that distinct voice, though. People are probably hearing that, and they're like, oh, that guy again.
Well, the people over at Hattie B's, they said, hey,
you got stopped.
Zach Lyons?
Yeah.
I got stopped.
Yeah.
I also got to thank you for your service like I was in the military tonight, so shout out to that guy.
Hey, listen, thank you for your service.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you for your service.
You know, really what would thank me the most is if someone could find a thermostat and turn this down. If we were down to 68, 66 degrees, like we would be living life. But it's 72
Listen,
degrees.
We're all ball all day. This is all ball all day.
What
do you think?
This is like we're in a sauna.
Yeah,
right now.
This is like training camp in August. If the Tennessee Titans can do it, if we're going to cover this team, we can do it too.
We are producing the show ourselves.
We are.
Producer Jackson, he goes, don't start till I get there so I can press the button. Too late, Jackson.
Yeah, where is Jackson? Somebody find Jackson.
Well, he had to wait for 3HL to get done so he could get over here with Joseph.
Oh, man. Oh, Joseph's coming too?
Joseph's coming.
We've already seen Easton Freeze here wandering around.
Wandering around as well.
Yeah.
Wherever he may be of A to Z Sports. Defensive tackle of Titans Media Defense.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Are we going to talk about that tonight?
I mean, we'll talk about that tonight. Obviously, we are both wearing unbuttoned Hawaiian shirts with Tennessee Titans shirts. Did not plan it.
Great minds think alike.
So this is the second time that I've synced up with my co-host because yesterday me and Blake both wore pink shirts.
Yeah. Which was electric, by the way.
And if it wasn't for you wearing a hat and me not wearing a hat, nobody would be able to tell us apart.
Well, I figured I needed to wear my signature hat in case anybody recognized me. They're like, oh, that's Stoney because that's the hat.
You get asked about that hat more than
all the time. Yeah, all the time.
Zach sounds like he in the background. Zach, plug in your mic. My mic is plugged in. It's coming out fine up here.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
How do I sound, chat? Should I just do the show?
Zach's mic is going to the house.
Uh-oh. We got a text from JT Runke of the Hot Read podcast. They can hear me, but Zach's mic is not plugged in.
Okay, give me 1 second.
We are experiencing some technical difficulties here. This is live producing a show. Should I just read random evals from the Stacking the Inbox draft guide?
Not yet. What about now, chat? Oh, I think that one worked.
I heard you reverberating off the wall, so I think we're good.
I think we're good. Is that good?
I think we're good, yeah.
Yeah, because they had – listen, I did not set this up. They had me plugged in somewhere else, so –
we got to find somebody.
So do I need to redo the intro and say, hey, it's football and other F words? I'm joined by Stoney Keeley at Stoney Keeley.
Yeah, everybody might have thought I was just sitting here talking to myself.
SoBrosNetwork.com, StackingTheInbox.com, Hot Read Podcast with the 440 Sports Network. Also, we got this nice NFL draft guide down here as well. We're live, for those that maybe missed this, live at the Hutton Hotel. Yeah. Inside the Analog, inside the Hutton Hotel, is that how I should say it?
Sure, absolutely.
The Analog is a balmy 75 degrees inside here. We didn't get any beer before we came on.
No, it's probably for the best, though.
You think so?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we're allowed to say it. We did. We indulged ourselves before we got here.
Gotcha. So now, Stoney, you are hard to hear, so let me turn you up.
Oh, this is great. This is going to be the whole hour.
You are a soft talker. I keep telling you this.
I feel like my voice projects pretty well.
No, it does not. It does not. We have this issue all the time.
Stuff this microphone down my throat? Is that better?
Yes. You see how I put it up next to the chin? This is a professional comedian hold.
Germs and everything.
Yeah, but that's the only person that's ever touched that is you.
Oh, well, I feel special now.
Yeah, that's why I have the blue on there.
Oh, okay, because my eyes. I got you. That's sweet.
Now, his mic is not all disconnected, Jonathan M. They're all connected, and there's nothing that we changed.
We're just live producing a show here.
Yep.
This is showbiz, baby.
I don't know why. Only one thing. This is a very fancy one, too.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle.
Yeah. I mean, I can hear you in here.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear me, too.
Stoney can't hear. So, I mean, are we just going to have to share a mic back and forth? Is that what's going to be?
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm going to turn it up just a little bit.
Okay. So maybe it is just my voice.
Everybody's trying to blame me in the chat. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to pass the mic at this point because we got a show to get to and everything. Brian Callahan is going to be here, so we'll just have to pass the mic. Just unplug your mic at this point. The audio of the hotel, not that great. Have to call Hutton out. Name call him. This was set up by them. Did not work out on here. So I just want to throw that out there. Okay. So, Stoney, you got the NFL draft guide. We're going to have the install. What is the one thing that you are convicted about this draft class that you know that you have seen on tape that they are going to say is not true in there? That they're going to say, no, that guy's wrong.
They're going to say that I'm wrong. Okay. I'm new here. Sorry. What they're going to say in there that I'm wrong about, probably it would have to be the Cam Ward take. I mean, if people read the draft guide, saw the quarterback rankings, I feel like I would get a healthy dose of call-outs here, and they're gonna say, Stoney, you're an idiot for this Cam Ward evaluation. He's the truth. He's a dog. He is the guy, and you need to go back to evaluating college, is what they would say, Zach.
So you think that at this point you've gotten your Cam Ward evaluation all wrong. Now, have you changed your Cam Ward evaluation since the last time we've talked?
Well, what I would say is that there is stuff to work on. When we do our film evaluation, the thing that we don't have access to that NFL teams do are the interviews. So when we sat down on Football and Other F Words back in January and we did our sort of preview of Shedeur Sanders and of Cam Ward, we didn't know the people behind the players. We just had the tape to go off of. There were some things on Cam Ward's tape that kind of concerned me a little bit, and I told you on the couch at the Zone Studios that the interviews would be crucial, that the interviews would be an imperative part of the evaluation. They've obviously met with Cam Ward, became infatuated with Cam Ward, and they've checked every box that they need to check as far as the personality and the interviews go. So I think that's where my opinion on the prospect has evolved over time, is seeing their affinity for the guy and hearing him talk and realizing this dude's a dog. This dude is here for it. This guy has the mental makeup to be the franchise quarterback that they clearly think that he is.
And we'll try again. Okay, so we're going to go through all the draft picks and everything. Keep on going. There we go. Okay. Now try talk.
How about that? I can hear myself coming in loud.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this thing, but we're going to – there we go. Eagles. Okay, so we're going to see if that works out. Can you do a mic check for everybody, Stoney?
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
We'll see what the chat says after that, and if not, we'll just keep on passing off the microphone here.
Yeah, how about that?
So Ola Dejo was picked in the second round. We already got a question from Todd Apple in here in the chat. What is the floor and the ceiling for Femi in terms of production?
So from a floor perspective, I think Ola Dejo is a fantastic power rusher that has fantastic traits, the size, the length, the speed to power. It's already there at NFL levels. I think he's going to be pretty quick. Still no. Okay. All right. There we go. I think he's got a ways to go in terms of building out like a pass rush skill set, right? Like, I don't even think the issue is that he doesn't have moves. You hear that about a lot of the critics of the picks are saying, well, he doesn't have pass rush moves. I think they're there on the tape. And here comes Jackson. Round of applause for Jackson. Jay Will's on the board.
What's
good to
up,
see you,
boys? How we doing?
Not good. We're down to one microphone.
we're on one mic. So
how the fuck did you guys do this to a microphone so quickly?
I don't know.
We can't figure it out, and nobody's around to help us.
Yeah. So the power's there with Ola Dejo. I think as he develops into a more robust pass rusher, I think that elevates the ceiling. Obviously, if he can finish more, like learn more counters, learn a more wide variety of moves, I think he does have a high ceiling because of the traits, the size, and those sorts of things.
But at what point does high ceiling? When should that actually factor? Because in the second round, production should matter, right? You don't have a pass rush, And technically right now, after the draft, you still don't have a pass rush. Okay, so now they're saying the blue mic worked instead they all said nope at the beginning. So I don't know. Just keep on going. Go with the mic. So at what point in your mind do you think, and make sure you hold it up to here, do you think that production should have weighed into their decision at 52?
Well, the spot they were in, man, like this roster had some holes on it, and we were talking about it at the bar earlier. Is like they needed two guys, and they ended up with one guy who's like a high upside project. So, who's going to come in right away and make that immediate impact? I think that's the question that I have when it comes to this pick. But something we've talked about before is like maybe the leash is a little bit longer. This staff is going to get more time to develop him. Maybe it is a sort of leap of faith that they just love the traits and they feel like this guy is just, stock to the moon kind of deal. I looked at it as in the second round right there, you need a guy that's going to be on the field week one. And that's where I have those reservations. Like, is he going to be that guy?
I mean, but when is he going to even be the guy this year to start, barring injuries? Because right now you have Arden Key, Draymond Jones, Lorenzo Carter, and technically probably Jalen Harrell ahead of him.
Yeah.
And he has no reason right now other than he's a second-round pick to even be projected to start and to even get considerable snaps. So, again, you drafted him in the second round. What the hell? That's just where I'm at with it, is that in the second round, I don't get it.
Let's ask Brian Callahan tonight.
Just go up there and say, hey, what the hell were you thinking? Femi Ola Dejo?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the move.
So, but the problem is you need pass rush, and you still don't have pass rush. Do we not find that to be a problem in a peculiar way to approach this draft?
Yeah, man. And our guy Eddie has brought it up to me this week before. I don't remember if it was in which chat it was in, but it's like there seems to be this cyclical thing where it's like every year the Titans still need an edge rusher, still need a wide receiver.
They're going to need 3 edge rushers next year.
So to not have like a ready-made guy at that pick, like I don't object to the Ola Dejo pick, but I think it's fair to ask, like, who's going to be rushing the passer week one?
Do you think sacks by committee could work? I mean, that's what K Playa says in here.
Maybe.
I mean, to me, it's like, okay, you signed Arden Key a couple of years ago. He was better than Harold Landry last year, but he still can't set the edge. You signed Draymond Jones, who's not known to be a double-digit sack guy. You may be putting him into a role that he's kind of miscast in as a true edge rusher.
Yeah.
And then you have Lorenzo Carter, who got 0 sacks last year for Atlanta. They hated Lorenzo Carter so much, they drafted 2 edge rushers. The Atlanta Falcons did. Yeah. And so then you have Jalen Harrell, 7th-round pick, and now you bring in this guy who had 4.5 sacks last year. I know everybody says, well, he only played 10 games. Well, he only got 1.8% sack rate. So those extra two games weren't going to change anything.
Yeah.
Because he only played 2 games at inside linebacker before they switched him. So, again, I'm rooting for the kid. He seems like a really easy kid to root for. He's already hung out with Jackson Slater, the 5th-round pick. I mean, he's an easy kid to root for, but we got to be a little bit realistic and set realistic expectations, is that, hey, listen, if he gets 5 sacks, that's a win. I don't know if everybody else will feel that way, but a guy that had 4.5 sacks last season in college ended up with 4.5 or 5 this year. I'm all in, but that's still asking a lot from a second-round pick unless you got it for a guy with production.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be, the onus is going to be on the coaching staff to really get more out of him quicker, get him more improved, more well-rounded, more of that talent that we see in the traits, harvesting that out of him and yielding it in the form of production.
I think he was a guy that would have probably fallen to 82.
I think so too. Yeah,
I think they made a misstep in anticipating an edge run, and there was a mini edge run, but you're just adding to it. Like, I mean, what do you end up with in the worst case scenario? Savion Jones or Princely Mialin? Like, to me, but then you have Trey Harris and Jalen Noel, which takes us to Chimray DK.
Yeah.
And I know that Buck is very excited about Chimray DK. He started cutting a bunch of film, which I would have loved to have watch Buck actually cut film himself. He usually has someone else do it for him. So when you look at Chimray DK, I mean, where are you at on? Was he a guy that was drafted because he fit a particular prospect type? Like they were looking for a particular type of wide receiver, a guy that had flexibility, speed, and versatility, like all the position alignment, and then he's able to do all that. But Isaac Tesla coming off the board, Jalen Noel came off the board, and Kyle Williams came off the board, and they all share that one thing in common: is positional versatility and speed. Do you think he was just, hey, this was our fourth guy in this particular prospect bucket?
I would think so. I am curious about the pick. Ty Felton went too at the very end of round 3 on Friday night as well. I'm curious about whether or not they felt like, oh man, we just watched Kyle Williams, Isaac Tesla, Jalen Noel all go off the board back to back to back, and now like we've got to get our guy. Like I feel like DK was one of those prospects that checked a lot of those boxes. Speed, versatility, tough kid, that sort of thing. And they just felt like we've got to, if he's our guy, we've got to get him while we know we can get him.
Yeah, I look at it and I go, okay, if you would have gone Trey Harris at 32, or sorry, at 52, who was there, or Jalen Noel, if that was who was ranked higher, which, you know, I feel like if anybody watched tape, Trey Harris would be ranked higher. And then you had Savion Jones, maybe still get Femi Ola Dejo at 82, and then you get like a Malachi Moore, Lathan Ransom at 103. You still get your wide receiver edge safety. You just get in a different order, and you probably get better value at all the picks.
Yeah, I think that's true. And then I still think if you want to double dip at wide receiver, DK's still there on day 3 for you, for sure.
So what about DK do you think for this offense? I mean, like, how much can we really rely and expect with Chimray DK actually being involved on this offense other than maybe the occasional gadget play and deep shot? Like, it seems like he's like a 10 to 20 play a game guy, if even that.
He could be. I don't know. I feel like I'm in the minority on this. Like, I'm stoked about this pick, and I think they're going to find creative ways to get him on the field. Brian Callahan talked about it in his media availability earlier this week about how they don't really know what bucket he fits into right now. It's kind of, he could do the X stuff. He could be the Z. He could line up in the slot, does a lot of things pretty well. I think they're going to move him around all over the field and just try to find opportunities for him. At Florida, I thought he was particularly effective. They would motion him into a wheel route on the outside, and when he turns a corner on the guy, man, he just has that speed where he can start to pull away and separate a little bit. And I think they were lacking a little bit of that last year in guys that could just, 3 deep down in the wide receiving core, you still got a guy that's going to make a play and separate.
What's up, V-Lub?
Yeah. Royalty in the building now. Yeah, so I feel like they're going to do a lot of different things with him. And I keep telling people, like, let's try not to hold that Florida passing game against him, because there were some times when he had to make some awkward adjustments to balls. Balls were sailing over his head. I like the player quite a bit. I know you think it was kind of a reach at that spot.
Well, let's be honest. It wasn't kind of a reach. It was a plain old reach.
If you go get your guy, you're happy.
But does that count for 4th round wide receivers? Like they get your, if you have conviction and get your guy mentality.
But also, we're basing our opinion off of like mock drafts and big boards. Like we don't really know what the NFL thought, because Isaac Tesla went at like pick 74.
But we knew that was the case.
Well,
based on film,
but that.
And I will say, Chimray DK was the probably 2nd most surprising player outside at the wide receiver position outside of Isaac Tesla that week.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did put some good things on tape. It'll be interesting to see what Chimray DK does in this offense, because I think all this boils down to is what can Brian Callahan design on this offensive scheme to get these guys open. Because I mean, you're charting the Tennessee Titans offense right now. And
I
what
am.
did you
I am.
message me last night was like 3 people fell down on a play.
Yeah, they had this really nifty screen design where it was like a 3-by-1 formation, 3 wide receivers on one side, Calvin Ridley on the other. They snapped the ball, and then Chigakonkwo was getting pushed back. Tyler Boyd ends up on the ground, and Traylon Burks is like running a go route and not even like blocking his man. The guy just gets through clean. And so they still dump it off to Tyjae Spears, and it goes for 5 yards, and they move the chains. But I'm just thinking, like, man, if this thing's blocked up better, like they just need dudes right now, because that could have been a big play that was left on the field.
Well, you say they need dudes right now. Then I also go back to the Femi Ola Dejo pick, which still says they need dudes right now at edge.
Well,
but
he's
I mean,
not playing wide receiver.
maybe he needs
maybe
to.
They put him out there to block on those screens.
So going to Kevin Winston, who we kind of skipped over.
Yeah,
You didn't watch his tape pre-draft. I think you
they
may.
got me.
Yeah,
They got me on that.
they got you on that one. Kevin Winston, what have you seen since the draft that you're like, oh damn, this dude's a player? Because that's what you see.
Yeah, I like him, and I wrote about him today on Stacking the Inbox. He's this week's Film Friday. There's like a 7-minute video of his cut-ups on stackingtheinbox.com. Really good all-around safety. I'm really impressed by smart, decisive angles against the run, the way he can kind of weave through traffic, get around people to get to the ball carrier, team captain. So he has those traits in coverage. I think he has some pretty nifty ball skills. There are points where he kind of creeps over to the catch point. It's like opposing quarterbacks either just didn't see him, or they vastly underestimated his ability to cross from the middle of the field over to the boundary at the catch point and to break up a play. So really good, well-rounded safety. The torn ACL, obviously a concern, but we know it's not the concern that it was 10 or 15 years ago. And so if this guy returns to form, man, he's going to be really good. And I dare say, at least at that spot, that position, could be a guy that they could probably build around for the future.
I was most impressed with how they lined him up, specifically in the West Virginia game, the last game before he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
How far back he was lined up from the line of scrimmage in his closing speed and his diagnosing speed. He was like, he could cover 20 yards in about a second and get to the wide receiver screen, which is very unheard of. I've never seen tape from this, and I love Malachi Moore. I love Malachi Moore. I love Xavier Watts. His tape was the best tape I've seen out of any safety in this draft class. And if it wasn't for the ACL, I think everybody is right. He would have gone the first round.
Did you go back and watch any of his 2023 tape?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Mainly based off that.
That Rutgers game was one that I have circled because of his stat line in that game, and just like the dude's all over the place. I mean, he's everywhere. So I'm really stoked about the pick. But you see, I pulled a clip from that game. It's in the film study today, where he covers like 15 yards before like anybody even realizes he's there.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's his closing speed is just unreal.
Yeah,
unreal. I look at that pick, and I know everybody's big fans of, well, if you swap these picks and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's not how you play the game.
So you're not like we're going.
That's fantasy.
In the second
Yeah,
round.
that's fantasy. That's not reality. Reality is they drafted this guy in this round. They drafted that guy in that round.
Okay.
And overall, they had the 21st ranked return on investment based on the consensus big board out of all the 32 NFL teams. So now they were ranked 15th in draft grades, but
I can't tell if you like this class or not.
I do. I'm okay with the class because I do understand the next two guys next three guys that we talk about I really like, and I think they got really great value or appropriate value.
Yeah.
And I love Kevin Winston.
Yeah.
I love Cam Ward. It's the Chimray DK and the Femi Ola Dejo pick that I struggle with in terms of like why. That is the big thing, not some bullshit answer that they normally give out, like coach speak answer. I want to know why, because I don't see that on tape.
Yeah.
I don't see those players fitting those draft values. Again, if you were to draft them later, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. But when you draft them at a certain draft position, they come with certain expectations, and I am struggling to see what on tape had them ranked higher than other players.
Okay.
Like, I understand if you look at Chimray DK versus Jalen Royals. I mean, the only thing that separates them is this 4.34 speed, but you don't see the 4.34 speed consistently on tape. And I think that there's a lot of times where you watch Chimray DK go really fast and struggle to stop. And to me, it's more important to have a guy that is a smooth route runner that can get in and out of his breaks and still capitalize on their speed.
Okay. I don't know. There's a part of me that likes DK better than Royals.
That's not what your draft guide said.
It's not, but that's just like in general, like I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Chimray DK.
Well, we'll see what they
Jalen
actually
Royals,
do.
I think, is more of like a one-dimensional kind of player. So for this offense, I mean, yeah, they need depth. They need slot receiver.
They needed an X receiver, and he's an X receiver, Jalen Royals. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Ooh,
No doubt.
I don't know about that one.
He never played. He hardly played any slot in college.
I don't know if I can walk down that road with you.
Well, you know who walked down that road with me?
Who?
Steve Smith.
Yeah, Steve Smith is high.
Yeah.
On Jalen Royals.
Yeah. So I look at it this way too. Let's move on to the guy that's going to probably play X, the guy that is everybody's darling pick.
Yeah.
Elio Manor.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a little nervous right now about this pick.
Wow.
And I really wasn't a couple of days ago, but I'm a little bit more nervous because all the nerds are coming out with their confirmation bias and saying this is the steal of the draft. This is the guy that's going to be the immediate contributor. And I feel wide receiver too. I feel like this is confirmation bias because they all had him pegged as a second round pick.
Yeah. Well,
which by the way, I did not. Just hands up, did not.
I don't
nailed it. By the way,
I don't remember where I had him.
Yeah.
I was pretty high on him though. I think he's a good receiver, but I think he's another guy that's kind of, I don't want to say like a one-trick pony or anything like that, but I think he's got a very defined skill set, and it's a skill set that the Titans needed, no doubt about that. But I'm curious about the injury situation because the rumors were flying that day that that's what caused him to slide, and I hadn't really heard much about it leading up to the draft.
I wonder if it's just a hamstring. I mean, they were scared enough of or concerned enough about the injury to pass on him at 103.
Yeah.
But not concerned enough about the injury to not trade up and get him.
They had to get DK.
Well, I mean, I would then say, well, DK is ranked higher than Elio Manor on the board.
Okay.
So I don't think everybody else would agree with that, but that's what their actions tell us. We got to go off their actions, right?
Yeah.
So then they weren't concerned enough about the about the injury to trade up for him. Mm-hmm. Which didn't really cost them much, but they still made that move to trade up for him.
Yeah.
And you kind of think to yourself, okay, well, is the injury the real issue?
I don't know.
Because he does struggle getting open. This idea that he gets open and plays really fast doesn't make much sense to me. I'm sure there will be clips of him getting open.
Yeah.
But when you have the highest contested target rate in the draft at the wide receiver position, that basically means a 26% clip. That means that you do not get open.
Yeah,
there's just no other way to put it.
I think he's a body guy that wins above the rim. That is a contested catch guy that can run block his tail off. I mean, he run blocks with hatred in his heart. He looks like he wants to just completely blast his target off the surface of the earth every time that he goes and blocks somebody. So, like, I'm kind of cool with it, man. Like, when you look at the skill set that they've added to round out this receiving core, I feel like Elio Manor kind of presents a different combination of skills that they don't have, and you piece everything together.
So it must be the 2022 injury where he tore everything in his knee in 2020.
Everything just blowed his.
Well, apparently that's what they said on the OTP, but that was back in 2022.
His whole daggum knee's gone. Oh, that's a problem. That is a problem when you're playing football.
I mean, everybody tried to say it was a problem with Tyjae Spears, and I said, oh, no, it's not going to be an issue. That guy's a dog. And granted, his knee hasn't been an issue.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe knees lead to concussions.
Well, there's also a timer with that specific injury.
Yeah.
We talked about it being like maybe a 3-year window, so we're still within that. Tyjae Spears could turn it around. How did we get here?
Well, we got here by talking about the
Elio
knees.
Manor, that's right.
Yeah, the knees the knee of Elio Manor.
Yeah, his exploded knee.
Yeah, that's what it says. So, medical red shirt in the knee, enrolled in June 2022, and then someone said it was Todd Apple said
Todd Apple's on it tonight.
he said he tore everything in one knee. Listen to the OTP breakdown of receivers. Coach Mack breaks it down, I think.
Coach Mack's on it too. Man.
I was trying to see if it was anywhere else in here, but forced to redshirt during his first year at Stanford after tearing the ACL, MCL, and meniscus. I think we read this on Saturday.
Cool.
Or maybe Or no, I did this on cover too. ACL, MCL, meniscus in his knee. Missed most of his senior year of high school with a torn PCL. So torn PCL in high school. Then red shirt during his first year because he tore his ACL, MCL, and meniscus. So he has literally torn everything in his knee.
You run out of CLs at a certain point.
Yeah.
No more CLs left to tear.
Hopefully he doesn't end up having to get his CDL because he tore his ACL this year.
I see what you did there.
So I look at it and I go, that's obviously why he fell.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if that's the full story of why he fell. Maybe that's just a convenient excuse.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
I do wonder about the contested target rate. I do worry about that at the next level. Now, how much of this can you explain away? How much of his, I guess, I wouldn't say lack of ball skills or anything, but how much would you say that his 2024 hinged on the quarterback?
Yeah, I think it was definitely an issue. I mean, the offense sputtered quite a bit. I hope I never have to watch 2024 Stanford offense tape ever again the rest of my life. I do think it's a valid excuse for some of it, but I mean, in a certain regard, you still kind of want to see a little more dominance than you did, and it's not like he was going up against like a murderer's row of defensive back. So I think, I mean, you might be onto something there, that there probably is room for him to assert himself a little more than he did on the tape. And maybe that was something that teams looked at as a potential red flag.
Okay, we talked about the two wide receivers. Mm-hmm. Give me your day one, 11 personnel starters at wide receiver. Day one, week one.
Day one, 11 personnel. I think it's going to be Tony Pollard.
Just pass catchers. Just pass catchers. Just wide receivers. Wide receivers.
I'm going Calvin Ridley. I'm going Tyler Lockett, and I'm going Van Jefferson.
Okay, what is it going to be week 18?
Week 18, I think it will be. We're getting heckled, by the way, for people that can't see the other side.
I can't hear them, so.
Well, I can't either. I can just see their middle fingers right in our faces.
Oh, well.
Professionals. I think by week 18, I think it'll be Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, and Elio Manor.
There you go.
I think that's going to be your Z, your slot, and your X.
I'm going with your week one. That's the week one, I think, and I think that's also going to be week 18.
Okay.
I don't think Elio Manor and DK are going to break the starting lineup. Unless they're like out of the playoffs or something, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what about Xavier Restrepo?
Well, I was going to save Restrepo for the end, but he's not even making the team, so it doesn't really matter. But we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, let's go to Jackson Slater. We just want to direct everybody to your Twitter at Stoney Keeley on X?
I was so happy about that pick. For one, I love the player. Versatile guy, great athlete, some good tape at Sacramento State, had a really good Senior Bowl. Watching him in the one-on-one mirror drills where they like pair up with another offensive lineman and they just like sink their tail ends and move side to side.
Yeah.
I'm like, this bro gets
up, Slay?
So low. My knees are hurting just watching this guy. Just such a good athlete. And the way they pull him, how hard he hits guys at the edge, I just felt like this was going to be a pretty good fit for this offense. But I was also, listen, I get a little emotional about football.
You do?
I'm a very passionate man. So when I see that pick, it's a lot of validation for the work that you and I have done, because I watched the tape and I said, this guy looks like he would be a fit for the Titans. You construct this algorithm that basically Frankenstein's together like what the Titans regime would be looking for in a prospect. And Jackson Slater was what, second among IOL on the Titans?
No, well, there was a lot of interior offensive line, but he was tied for fourth. So, I mean, he's 92%. I mean, like, it's nothing to sniff at.
92%. So it felt like a real victory for our process in identifying players and prospects that the Titans would like. And so to get that sort of validation was also an awesome moment, too. And then to connect with Jackson himself. He saw the video of us.
Yeah. Maybe we can get him into the newly revamped Football and Other F Words Cumulus Media podcast studio.
That's what I would love. Jackson Slater on Football and Other F Words.
Don't know if there's a casting couch or not anymore, so we'll have to see how that looks on Monday. And so here's something that someone asked today, but because someone just came up and reminded us that Will Levis is still on the roster, and he's asking us why.
Yeah.
What would destroy this football team more, one Will Levis or 100 gorillas?
That's a good question.
100 gorillas or one Will Levis? What would destroy this football team more? But I bet those gorillas could play football.
I mean, like literally, they would destroy the team.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think you could win more games with the 100 gorillas.
Yeah, if you could. Yeah, no, that's for sure.
I mean, if you could teach them how to play sign language, you could teach them how to play football.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even have to like possess any sort of real skill. They just have to hold on to the ball. Nobody's going to tackle them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just gonna mow them down.
So Jackson Slater, do you think he's going to be a center or a guard? I'm kind of leaning that he's going to play guard at this level.
Yeah.
That's where he played 42 games at guard, only 2 at left tackle. I know that he can play center, and he has played center at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, he did.
But I do think that this is a Kevin Zeitler heir apparent, if I had to guess.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at him, is like he's the immediate successor to Kevin Zeitler at right guard. But if anything were to happen with Lloyd Cushenberry, I think he could kick over and play that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a really good athlete. He offers that versatility. Really feels like a guy that they're just going to get into camp and kind of see what he can do and where he plays best, where he fits best.
Okay, so that takes us to Marcus Harris, and
we skipped the tight end.
Oh yeah, Gunnar Helm.
Yeah, what do we think about Gunnar Helm?
I like Gunnar Helm.
Now,
just so you know, because I know you have a one more thing. We have 19 minutes, so I'm just trying to keep us on pace here.
I don't have a one more thing. I don't have any notes.
Okay, so Gunnar Helm. I look at Gunnar Helm, and I think he's going to be tight end one. I mean, I like Chig. I like that he's big in Japanese culture, and all that kind of stuff. Like I like him as a person. He seems like a guy that would play Marvel Rivals with me.
You want to hang out with
him. Like I would hang out with him. He'd be great. But I think Gunnar Helm is going to be. I mean, as long as he's healthy and stays healthy, and the ankle has gone down because it was the size of Jackson's head. So as long as it is swollen, the swelling has gone down, I look at Gunnar Helm and I'm like, maybe this is Josh Wiley stuff, but like I think he's tight end one.
Yeah, I mean,
early favorite is how I'd put it.
You look at how Texas used him, man. He could do a little bit of everything. I know, like he doesn't have the best reputation as a blocker, but I don't know. Like I think it's more in run blocking where you don't see a whole lot of drive. Sometimes the aim's a little off. He's a little wobbly, but I think he's perfectly fine in like pass pro and like in space, getting to the second level. Like he's a mosh pit style blocker. Like he's just going to get in there and hit whoever comes around him. So I think he's a little underrated as a blocker, but I think you see him really do his damage when he can kind of sneak out into the flat, sneak up the seam. Teams aren't paying attention to him. Of course, in that offense at Texas, kind of designed to attack the field vertically. So defensive backs would back up in preparation of that, and then Gunnar Helm is wide open underneath with the ball in his hands. He can walk the tightrope up the sideline. He can hurdle guys, leapfrog over dudes. I think he's a really complete Y-style tight end that I think that kind of gives him an edge in the tight end competition because I think he can do quite a few things well, and he's got more of a jack-of-all-trades skill set at the position.
Yeah, that's how I view it. Is that we know that he can block. We know that he can sit down in the zone and find it. We know that he's a reliable pass catcher as well. And so all of that, I look at it and I go, to me, that means that he's likely going to be tight end one, which is good for Chig Okonkwo, in my opinion. I don't think that's a bad thing for Chig because now he can take on that big slot role. He could be a mismatch with linebackers in the passing game. Like, to me, this frees up Chig to do what Chig does, and that's be pretty much a big wide receiver.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious if there's a way they can leverage both guys in 12 personnel that doesn't necessarily look like 12 personnel. If you catch my drift, like if Gunnar Helm is in line and Chig is out in the slot, technically it's 12 personnel, but it might not look like it. So I wonder what kind of things they could do to run the ball out of those sort of formations and personnel groupings to see both of them on the field, to capitalize and leverage both of their skill sets a little better.
Okay, so now let's go to Marcus Harris.
Okay.
I like the pick because I saw a physical corner on the outside that's going to go on the inside. And I think Blaine put it best today when we were talking about Marcus Harris. I know you didn't get to hear it.
Yeah.
He's got the aggression of Jarvis Brownlee Jr., but like one level down. Like he is one level less than Jarvis. Like he's the perfect amount of aggression.
Yeah.
Whereas Jarvis Brownlee Jr., God bless him, I love him. He's overly aggressive, which is fine.
Yeah,
I don't want to take him out of that, take that out of his game.
No.
So to me, I look at it and I go, Marcus Harris in the slot. How quick does he adjust? Because we looked at it today. He only has 192 snaps in the slot versus 2,500 rounded up, 2,495, 2,500 on the outside. Now he is built like Roger McCreary. He's a tad bit longer than Roger McCreary, but he's just as aggressive. And I know that this is a persona non grata for you on the Hot Read podcast, but we're on football and other F words right now. So you can slander Roger McCreary as much as you want. You can say that he sucks or whatever you say on Hot Read.
I don't say that he sucks. I like Roger McCreary. He's one of my favorite Titans, one of my favorite players. I've got a T-shirt that has his face on it. I love him. But from like a roster building standpoint, personnel-wise, we had kind of kicked around this idea that, he might not be long for the team the way that
he is on the last year of his contract.
He's on the last year of his contract. I didn't know if he had the measurables that this front office, that this regime was looking for in the slot corner. So I kind of felt like, man, the signs are there that he might either be gone after this year or they might try to trade him to get a draft pick. And then they go and they draft Marcus Harris.
And sign a bunch of Nickelback undrafted free agents.
Yeah, like there's going to be a competition there. Like, I don't know. Like
That's a guy that come around the trade deadline is going to be written in pencil. Like when we're on the radio or doing our podcast and we're like, here are some trade deadline candidates. Yeah. He's going to be at the top of the list unless Marcus Harris and all these guys kind of suck through camp. But, like, I look at Marcus Harris and I'm like, I see the vision. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like him because I love the California defense. The California defense asks you to be aggressive.
Yeah.
It asks you to press. It asks you to play man. Marcus Harris does that very well. But, at the beginning, because I only watched, like, one thing of film for him, so I was just kind of like, I don't know if I'm really digging this pick.
Yeah.
But the more I watched it this week and the more got done talking to Blaine, he's Blaine Bishop approved, which is good enough for me.
I'm going to do my full film study on him next week. It's going to be next week's Film Friday.
Yeah.
Marcus Harris.
Over at stackingtheinbox.com.
Yeah.
So, to me, I look at it and I go, this makes sense. And then you go and look at the undrafted free agent pool at cornerback, and all these DBs they brought in are all similar Nickelback size is what you would say.
Yeah.
So I look at it and I go, we just saw a kind of a big payday for Nickelback cornerback 3 types, right? Kenny Moore got some money. Who was I just thinking? I was just thinking of someone that just got paid.
Yeah, I don't know.
But those kinds of players are now starting to get paid. So it looks like the Tennessee Titans are preparing, and Roger McCreary deserves to get paid. I think he's been a very excellent, dependable, durable player.
I still think
but
about that
again,
game.
But again, I look at it and I go, they're planning for the future, which seems to be the theme of this draft, which is a little scary for 2025.
2 to 3 years down the road. 2 to 3 years down the road.
It's
what
like
does this
a
team
fuck
look like?
2025 apparently. Let's go to because I want to get to Xavier Restrepo. Let's
We don't
talk.
have to.
Well, I do.
Okay.
That's what I said. I wanted to.
Oh, you wanted to?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant like we've got to.
Well, I want to because we got 12 minutes left. But Khell Mullins,
I love it.
we both love Khell
Love the
Mullins.
pick, yeah.
He ends up, to me, I look at it and I go, this dude is going to be so fun to watch in camp. Like
He
him
is.
and Jackson
Yeah.
Slater are the guys I'm really the most interested in seeing a running back and
Preseason.
offensive line in camp because I want to see how they do. Like I want to see Jackson Slater versus Jeffrey Simmons, Jackson Slater versus Tavondre Sweat.
Yeah.
I want to see Khell Mullins bust through the line and take a defensive back down with him or
Yeah.
a linebacker.
I was
Like
about to say,
Cedric,
test these linebackers.
yeah, Cedric Gray
Test
versus
these linebackers.
Cedric Gray and James Williams coming in like a missile to tackle Khell Mullins could break the earth.
It's going to put.
It's like dividing by zero.
Yeah. It's going to put a crater in the earth.
But to me, I look at it and I go, this guy's a dude. And everybody says, the scouts have said, and Dane Brugler's the beast, that he looks like a meathead, but he's probably the smartest guy on the field,
Yeah.
most charismatic. I gave him some love. The Tennessee Titans asked for like clips of your favorite clips of your favorite prospects. And of course, they were all Cam Ward. Like, let's be original, people.
Yeah.
And so I go to my Kryptonian overlord to get USC my Kryptonian overlord to go for USC versus Ohio State because that dude puts games away. 5.7 yards per carry in the fourth. If the Tennessee Titans were ever lucky enough this year to get a lead and be able to maintain it, it's going to be because Khell Mullins put in the work between the tackles, put in the work at the goal line, and just got shit done. That's what he's there for.
Hey, I tell you what, Zach, that first beer hit my hand on Friday night like Khell Mullins.
But to me, that's what you're looking for, right? You're looking for a get shit done at the goal line, get shit done at the red zone.
And he's a powerful guy. He's really thickly built. Came from kind of a timeshare there at Michigan where, he doesn't have a whole lot of tread on the tires. Is the power guy, but dude, he's a good athlete, man. He has some burst to him, and
he doesn't have sustainable speed.
Yeah.
He tops out probably at looks like on tape 16 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So it's not fast, but he's got the burst and he's got the wiggle.
The burst to get through the hole, that sort of thing. And there's a couple of times I've heard a lot of analysts that kind of talk about, well, he's no asset in the passing game, which for one, I don't know if you draft a running back like that to be an asset in the passing game. But there were some instances that they flipped a couple swing passes out to him. And he kind of flashed some soft hands that kind of made me. I took note of it when I was evaluating him. Like there could be some potential here for some of those swing passes, screens, stuff like that. Getting him in space where if he's one-on-one with like a corner, I mean that corner doesn't stand a chance. Against a guy like him.
He's looking to run through people, not looking to juke people, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. I hope he lives up to the hype that has built up in my head.
And then we keep piling on.
Yeah, and then we could just keep and we could say that we were the guys that were on this first.
Yeah.
So I want to say this. I want to get to 2 undrafted free agents. I know I just said Xavier Restrepo, but real quick, because Jason McDonald had asked us as soon as we came off the air of cover 2, and now he's asking it again. And so I want to make sure that we talk about him. What is your projection with Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon? Because you did an eval on him. I like him. He ranked pretty high on the Titans fit ratings.
Yeah.
Do you think that he is a guard because he's heavy-footed, and maybe the plan is Slater at center, BCD at guard?
It could be. I mean, I know it's a cop-out answer, but I kind of view him similar to Slater in that he strikes me as a guy that they're just going to get in there and see what he can do, see where he plays best, where he's most comfortable, where he's most effective, and they're going to go from there. I think BCD is like the ultimate tape or testing kind of prospect because his testing at the combine was not that great. Really low RAS. I think it was like 2.5 or something like that. But the tape is good. He's battle tested, went up against that stable of Ole Miss pass rushers that all got drafted, well, except for Jared Ivey, played in the SEC, had some good tape, man. Like he's a powerful guy that I think kind of fits the bill in terms of what they want in an offensive lineman. He plays with good drive. And I think he's battle tested, man. I think I would give him a shot at tackle and see if you can develop him into a contributor on down the road.
Okay.
2 to 3 years down the road pick.
Xavier Restrepo.
Yeah.
Not a lot of speed, but he can get gain separation, kind of like what I was talking about with Chimray DK. He kind of falls over his skis, getting in and out of his cuts. Not Xavier Restrepo, but he's not going to get. He's going to get a lot of, I guess you would say, off campus reps with Cam Ward and all that kind of stuff. But he's not going to get a lot of in camp reps with Cam Ward. So, how do you build out a wide receiver room with the, I think, 12 to 15 wide receivers they have on the roster and try to get Xavier Restrepo there when he may not even be able to contribute on special teams?
Man, I really don't know. And it's the one thing that kind of has me concerned when trying to project his spot on this team, because I think there's a lot of different pathways he can go to get there that, like, he doesn't check the boxes. Like you mentioned, special teams. Doesn't really check that box. I don't really see him as an outside guy. He doesn't check that box. Doesn't really have the speed, the athleticism. Doesn't check that box. I think there are guys ahead of him in this rotation that do those things better and offer more versatility. So we get down to the point where, like, yes, he has the ability to separate in the phone booth. He has the quick twitch, can get open underneath, that sort of thing. But like they have guys that can do that have a little more upside than he does. So I think it's going to be a difficult battle for him to land on this roster.
I agree. Easton earlier said it would be over 50%.
Oh, he's right here.
Over 50% for Restrepo is what you said. And I mean, not talking like a major, but like 51, 52% is what he thinks. And I think he's totally incorrect.
He's not.
Yeah, no, he said it on air. We have it on air today. Totally incorrect. Typical Easton stuff. Okay, that will do it for us here on Football and Other F Words. We're live at the Hutton Hotel near the Analog. We're outside the Analog. They put us out in the hallway to entertain the masses.
Yes.
We're going to have Greg Cosell's going to be getting up there with Brian Callahan and Buck Rising here shortly at 7 p.m. We appreciate you guys for putting up with the audio issues that we had at the beginning. We got it figured out. Hey, Craig Baxter, your boy, just got into Facebook, so good evening from Corpus Christi, Texas. Tighten up, motherfuckers, and that's, guess what? This is Football and Other F Words, and you have just been effed.
Need a drink.